You try to hold it all inside, every fleeting pain, every silent cry bouncing off your chest. It's like standing in a room full of shadows, each one whispering stories you can't quite remember, stories you've absorbed without even realizing. You feel the weight of others' suffering, not as an outsider, but as if it's woven into your own skin. Sometimes it's overwhelming, an invisible tide pulling at your core, yet you wear a calm face because that's what you're supposed to do. But beneath the surface, you wonder, why does this ache linger even after you've done everything right? Why does the silence feel so heavy, so cold? Carl Jung once hinted that the deepest wounds are hidden in the unconscious, waiting to be seen. But what if, in trying to understand others, you've lost yourself in the process? What if this pain is actually a mirror, calling you home? It's as if the tools you relied on, hustle, approval, distraction, have suddenly stopped working. And in that silence, a quiet truth begins to emerge. Perhaps you're not broken. Perhaps the gears just don't fit anymore. What you're experiencing is not failure, but a kind of death, a shedding of the familiar skin that once defined you. Old stories, conditioned beliefs, societal masks, they're crumbling, leaving behind an emptiness that can feel like loss or confusion. But this space, this liminal pause, is not a void to fear. It's the quiet before a new beginning, the space where the old self dissolves. Think of it as a night sky clearing after a storm. What seemed so solid now feels fragile, yet in that fragility lies the promise of rebirth. The discomfort you sense is not a malfunction. It's the necessary unraveling of what no longer serves. Because true awakening isn't about adding more layers, it's about letting go of everything that was never truly you. And in that surrender, a new depth begins to emerge, waiting patiently for you to step into it. Think of the cocoon trembling before the butterfly emerges, or the darkness of the cave where the treasure is buried deep within. This pain you feel, this emptiness, might not be the end. It could be the doorway, the silent portal to the self that has been waiting patiently behind layers of illusion. The ego's funeral is not a loss but a liberation. It's the death of the false self that clings to control, and the birth of something more authentic and ancient, wise core that knows no fear of the dark. Remember, the alchemists believed that gold is forged in the crucible of fire. Your suffering is the fire shaping you into your truest form. This moment of surrender isn't surrendering to despair, it's surrendering to the possibility of rebirth. The storm is not destruction, it's the necessary clearing for the new to rise. And in that quiet, trembling space, the deeper self begins to listen. The journey inward has only just begun. Why does it still feel so heavy, so relentless? What invisible force is holding you back from clarity and peace? According to Carl Jung, this is the presence of your shadow, those parts of yourself you have pushed into the darkness. It's not just about the mistakes or fears you admit, it's the repressed truths, the suppressed emotions, the fragments you refuse to face. These hidden pieces, shadows of anger, shame, longing, are like shadows cast by a flickering flame you once kept alive, now buried deep beneath layers of survival. Imagine your fire, your passion, buried beneath the weight of survival strategies, locked behind walls of denial. The numbness you feel isn't a void, it's a fortress built to contain the storm within. It's a silent memory trying to find its voice, trying to seep through the cracks in your carefully constructed calm. This is the shadow working in the background, whispering that there's more beneath the surface, an unfinished story, a part of you still waiting to be seen. And as you sense this, know this, what you're feeling isn't just fog, it's the echo of your buried truth, calling you back from the edges of your own darkness, inviting you to remember who you truly are. It's as if your identity has fractured, torn between two worlds. On one side, your ego clings to the familiar rules: success, survival, the masks you've worn for so long. On the other, a quiet whisper of truth beckons, calling you toward authenticity, toward a version of yourself you've yet to fully understand. These parts are in conflict, neither fully in control, each vying for dominance. You want to move forward, but something holds you back. Your body feels present, yet your soul seems elsewhere. Stillness brings a longing for peace, yet also stirs anxiety. You're caught in a tension that feels like being pulled apart, exhausted from the internal tug-of-war. Guilt surfaces as you slip into old patterns. Doubt whispers, "Is this really me?" Shame floods in when you regress into familiar behavior. Grief emerges for the self that's fading, for the person you once were, now transforming. But remember, this split is not dysfunction. It's not failure. It's the sacred breaking of an inner shell, the necessary chaos before rebirth. As Carl Jung described, you are in the crisis before integration. Cut between the persona and the true self, this turbulence may feel overwhelming. But it's also the threshold and invitation to reconcile these parts and step into a fuller, more authentic expression of who you are. What if this inner tension isn't the end of your story, but the very beginning of something more authentic? Consider that the chaos you feel is not your failure, but the raw material of transformation. You're not falling apart, you're breaking open, like seeds in the dark, waiting to sprout. Healing isn't about erasing what's been. It's about weaving together the fractured parts of yourself into a new, unified whole. This process is psychological alchemy, pain transforming into presence, confusion becoming clarity, emptiness fertile ground for growth. Jung spoke of individuation, of bringing the unconscious into conscious awareness, an act of inner architecture, where shadow and light are assembled into a cohesive structure. Think of this chaos as the scaffolding of a sacred building, where each piece, no matter how chaotic, plays a vital role in the unfolding design. When your inner world feels like a storm, remember it's the storm that clears the sky. Guilt signals your soul's whispering truths. Apathy hints at new values emerging. Confusion is simply the mind's way of reorganizing itself into a clearer map. You are not lost, you are composting old selves into fertile soil for the next chapter of your being. Growth often wears the mask of grief, but beneath it lies the alchemical process of becoming. Trust in this slow, sacred unfolding. The next phase is near-wire clarity. New values and authentic alignment will quietly emerge from the depths. You're not going back to a preformed identity, but designing a living, breathing space for your authentic self to emerge. You're not merely returning to normal. You're building a new normal, one that honors your truth and inner resonance. The life you once chased no longer fits because it was shaped by external expectations and ego-driven roles. Now, your identity becomes more fluid, more intuitive, crafted from your deepest values, not societal scripts. Think of it as designing a home for your soul, spacious, transparent, and adaptable. Instead of wearing masks to please others, you're learning to be transparent, to show up as you truly are. This process echoes Jung's idea of individuation, becoming the self, and aligns with the work of others like Mate and Nietzsche, emphasizing authentic self-creation and overcoming limitations. You might find yourself saying no to relationships or careers that demand performance, while saying yes to pursuits that spark genuine joy. This is real freedom, a conscious act of revealing yourself, not reinventing an impossible ideal. As you step into this new identity, remember you're not finished, but you are beginning to live more truthfully, more freely. And soon, this genuine self will reconnect with the world through purpose, service, and expression. Now that you've begun to listen deeply within, the world around you shifts in meaning. You're not returning to the old ways, nor are you retreating into silence. Instead, you're bringing something new into your relationships, your work, your presence. This is a sacred reconnection, a gentle re-entry into life, grounded in your authentic self. Engaging with the world now feels slower, more deliberate. It's not about rushing to prove yourself, but about responding with presence. You speak your truth, even if your voice trembles. You create without asking permission, allowing inspiration to flow freely. You walk away from roles that no longer honor your soul, feeling a quiet peace in simplicity. No longer hungry for applause, you find fulfillment in authenticity itself. This is a return, a light-bearing homecoming. Like the hero stepping back into the tribe with newfound wisdom, you invite genuine connection. You attract those who resonate with your truth and let go of those who needed your performance. You lead not by persuading, but by living your truth, a living act of art and service. Remember, your truth is medicine, powerful and transformative, but only if shared. This is where healing becomes transmission. From this sacred space, step into your symbolic life, where inner guidance, synchronicity, and soulful participation await, ready to carry your light into the world. As you begin to see the world through new eyes, subtle signals emerge, dreams whisper in the quiet night, recurring symbols appear like gentle guides, and a deep knowing rises from within. This is the language of the symbolic life, as Carl Jung described, a realm where reality is no longer confined to the literal, but unfolds as a tapestry of archetypes, synchronistic signs, and inner resonance. It's not superstition or superstition. It's a profound intelligence that speaks through images, feelings, and patterns, waiting patiently for your receptive presence. Imagine a dream revealing a hidden truth, or a number sequence that feels strangely familiar. Aligning with your inner shift, perhaps a song or a piece of art seems to echo your soul's current state, guiding you without words. These messages demand stillness, trust, and a willingness to embrace mystery and openness, to feel before you fully understand, to listen beyond the noise of the mind. As Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, and in this symbolic space, you begin to dialogue with life itself, seeing patterns where others see randomness, feeling the shape and pull of unseen forces. This is the natural evolution beyond mere ego. The unconscious becomes a creative partner, and life transforms into a poetic dialogue. The symbolic life is participatory, inviting you to co-create in harmony with inner truths. It's a sacred dance that prepares the soul for the next stage, expressing your authentic contribution, not through performance, but through a deep, truthful legacy. You've embraced the chaos of transformation, recognizing that crises and emotional upheaval are not failures, but alchemical processes, gathering the scattered pieces of your true self and forging a new, authentic identity. Now the time has come to share that truth, not as performance, but as presence. Your genuine contribution flows from a place of wholeness, where imperfections are embraced as vital expressions of your unique voice. Whether through creative projects, healing others through lived experience, mentoring, or simple acts of kindness rooted in integrity, your actions become a living testament to your inner awakening. Remember Jung's notion of individuation. When the self aligns with the collective, your life becomes a bridge of service and authenticity. Your gifts are needed now more than ever, and your legacy is not built on grandiosity, but on the ripples created by your heartfelt presence. Release fears of judgment or rejection. Instead, step into vulnerability as a portal for true connection. Life itself is a work of art, a sacred act of becoming, where every moment offers an opportunity to serve and inspire. This is not an end, but a new beginning. Keep growing, keep expressing, and keep serving from the fullness of your awakened self. Your light is a gift, shine it boldly, and trust that your authentic contribution is shaping a more conscious, loving world.